Welcome to yet another episode of the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, a series of conversations with CXOs and business leaders over chai or coffee, if that's your preference, brought to you by ETH. The urgency and pressure on business leaders as they navigated successive waves of the COVID-19 pandemic was immense, to say the least. These business leaders had to dynamically monitor myriad ways to ensure that their respective companies stayed on course in the new normal. The incredible demands placed on them makes us often wonder how they had time for family, hobbies, or any downtime at a personal level. And let's not forget that they are mere mortals. This initiative by ETH is aimed at creating a deeper connection with them by getting a glimpse into their personal and professional journey thus far, finding out what makes them tick, understand their views on life and leadership, and also get a sense of what they do to unwind and recharge when they are not in business mode. It is said that one conversation can change the direction of life forever. It is also said that there is nothing better than a cup of tea to get you going. So grab your cup of tea and join me, Ivan Rodrigues, for a very exciting cutting chai conversation. Today, it's my pleasure to host Nilesh Dipak Karani, Senior Director, Head of Merck IT Center and IT Country Head, Merck India. Nilesh, welcome to the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories.
Thank you, Ivan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Nilesh, let's kick off this cutting chai conversation. Let's start at the very beginning. Let's go down memory lane. If you were to go back to the early years of your childhood, school, or later college, could you let us know about any positive influences or incidents that contributed towards shaping your foundation in those formative years?
Oh, wow. Thanks, Ivan. You are taking me to my college and the childhood days. Certainly, I mean, if I recollect, one of the very important and key incident that has happened while I was doing my engineering graduation. I was part of the national service scheme. It's called as NSS.
Okay.
And we used to go for a 10-day camp in some nearby village, do the social activity, work out together as a team, stay there in the tents, which is built by us. And, as you know, I mean, the National Service Scheme has their own guardrails and, the philosophy, which
Yes.
and the process which you have to follow. And
Yes.
very deep root, and linked to our social, where I could learn, how is the social life linked separately. And one of the incident I can recollect at that point of time is basically, young age, young blood, you always try to see and look at it, how you break the rules, right?
Yes.
And so basically, during that, just part of the fun, I, along with a few of my friends there from the college, we ended up breaking the rule. Okay. And it was dark in the night, no lights at, we used to in the tents, and we used to sleep once after a certain time.
Okay.
Basically, I was along with the team caught red-handed while breaking that specific rule by the leader of the our NSS team.
True. Yeah.
And then that was brought to the notice, and he had a conversation. Everybody was afraid and
Yes.
said no, whatnot, and trying to find the excuse. And
Okay.
I at that point of time learned very important lesson, where I said, let's accept the fact that we did a mistake,
Yes.
right? And it's important not to shy away from that. You as a human being will do tons and hundreds of mistakes during the course of life, and that's where you will learn and what life teach you the lessons. And that is where I went ahead next day during the initial prayer time, and I said, hey, I have something to announce.
Mm.
And I narrated the whole incident in front of everybody, including the teacher and whoever it was, professor, whoever it was. And I said, this is what happened. I apologize for that. And along with me, there were, others. I don't want to take anybody's name. I take the responsibility because I provoked them to do this. And they were part of us being the fun. And I take that responsibility. I apologize for that, but I rest assured this will never happen. And if I find anybody is doing that and breaking those rules, I would bring it to the notice, and I would never do that. Right. And since
Yes.
then, I left that one bad habit of mine, and that's what it is. But it taught me a bigger lesson where don't shy away from mistake and be bold and honest enough to even acknowledge that it's your mistake and take the responsibility.
Amazing. Amazing. As you were talking, it took me back to my days. What you said is so important. You narrated one example, but I think that's so, so important because in the organization today also, we use various words like risk taking, make your mistakes. But what was most endearing to me was the fact that you said was you made the mistake, but you had the courage at that young age to go in front of, say, the principal or whomever, in front of the whole group and own up to it. That courage is admirable because most of us tend to hide our mistakes or blame others. And you took responsibility for that. And that one incident, like you said, was life altering to you, right?
Absolutely.
Amazing. I mean, what a wonderful note to start this cutting chai conversation on. Thank you for sharing that example with us. Thank you. Okay, my next question, Nilesh. I touched upon it in the introduction. We talked about the COVID waves. So my question to you is this: pre-COVID to COVID, and we are still looking at, I hope there's no other wave, but there are some cases arising at this current moment. How has your approach towards life, family, and the community changed pre-COVID to COVID? And also, as a follow-up, has your leadership style changed in any way?
I mean, certainly, COVID taught us, a lot of aspects which we were not, looking at it, and a lot of the thinking process has been changed pre-COVID to COVID. In fact, at least, we always tend to, and I myself as well, tend to busy with our work life. Okay, get engrossed with it. We have so many deliverables, so many targets, and so many other aspects to achieve. But at the same time, I think when the COVID hit, at least it gave an opportunity to pause and reflect when we went into that lockdown mode. Very beginning of, somewhere in the, I remember the date, 23rd March 2020. Okay. And basically, it gave an opportunity to pause, reflect back what we are doing, what is important in the life, right? And at the same time, it was like, okay, fear, what's going to happen? It's completely new, right?
Yes.
At least I took that opportunity to retrospect, spend more time with the family, friends, connect with a lot of old school and college friends during that time when we were into an lockdown, connect with them virtually, play games or things like that. It was fun. And since then, I ensure at least at certain frequency, I keep calling my friends, right? And not just busy with the work. So work-life balance certainly become more important. The perspective of looking at the humanity is change overall. And that is where I took one big change in my leadership style is being more empathetic, right? And ensure to give a confidence to the team that I'm there, right? And we as an organization and there with you, be whatever it is, health and safety is more important than anything else, right? Business
Yes.
business continuity comes second.
Yes.
So that's what my
Sure.
message.
Sure. You're absolutely right. I mean, I've heard this so often. Previously, we used to use the word empathy generally, quite
Exactly.
loosely, and we used to say, yeah, I empathize with you. And when COVID hit, I think everybody understood the real meaning of the word empathy. And it was not just about a group of people, but I think even you as a leader probably had to get down to the level of a individual within your team to really understand what that background was, where is he working from, what are the problems that person is facing, how could you make that person's life more easier. So empathy in its real sense flourished because of COVID. And I think that's one of the greatest takeaways for us, Nilesh. That's
Yes,
my takeaway from
certainly.
your answer. Yeah, yeah.
Certainly.
Okay. My next question. Uh, Quite often, Nilesh, people working in the IT domain are often perceived to be highly technical in their approach. The words that come to mind when you see anybody from IT is SAP, cloud, servers, programs, data crunching, numbers, ERP. Uh, so this is what comes. So my question to you is this. How important are people skills when it comes to those who work in the technology space?
Yeah, Ivan. In fact, you were taking quite a bit of those names of the different technologies, and yeah, being in the IT industry and the world. I mean, I can say irrespective of any technology, right? The handling of the people, getting the best out of the people, right? That is the common denominator,
Right.
right? Because technology one can learn, right?
Yes.
But the people skill, it comes by the attitude, by certain value system, right? And it is very important. So people for me are the most important asset. Okay. And they are the one who are going to ensure whatever be the technology or technology specific initiatives to be delivered, right? How those people are going to sync up among themselves as a team, at the same time how they are going to sync up the expectations of the stakeholder, right? So certainly people skill and people are the most important aspect and element uh, to deliver any technology specific initiatives.
Nice. Wonderful. Okay. You've had a professional career, if I'm not mistaken, of roughly 22 years, Nilesh.
Yes,
Okay.
22 years.
Okay. So, and today you're a leader in your own right. So my next question for you is, what advice would you give someone going into a leadership position for the first time?
Okay, so first of all, someone who is say are an individual contributors and getting into a leadership role, it's a switch of an identity, right? It's
Yes.
basically a switch of an identity. And if I would advise somebody who is getting into a leadership role is to ensure you get along with the team, being part of the team, okay, and take the ownership and accountability that is there, because you as a leader need to stand by with your team. If team do the great job, um, it's their credit. But if team fails, right, you as a leader should take the accountability and support the team, right?
Mhm.
So that would be my 2 cents to people who are getting into the leadership role first time. And more importantly, you have to be a quiet listener at point of time, so that you as a leader would get the great ideas from your team.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm really enjoying this. I mean, what you're basically saying is, the buck stops at you. So
Absolutely.
that's where the responsibility lies. And what you're saying is that, to keep the new ideas coming, easier said than done. But if you're a good listener, there are many new ideas that can come your way that can help improve the whole effectiveness of that particular domain or any task. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, this is an interesting question. Let me see if you'll answer it. I'm hoping you will. So this question is, it could be in your professional life or personal life, what is the most important risk? It could be one risk or something more than one that you took, and why did you take that risk, and was it worth it?
There are more than one, certainly, and
Okay.
you have to, right? Because I believe where there is a risk, there is a reward. Right?
Yes.
So certainly I am coming from the family. I would say I am the first individual from the family who went into a service industry or doing the job.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I'm coming from the community which is called Banya, right? So they are into the, own small or bigger family business, right?
Absolutely.
And my dad is just an retail grocery shop, and most of the family members are into similar business.
Sure.
So I am the one who is coming out of that and getting into the service industry. And then the time came, after certain years of experience, I been to US, and I was there for almost 5-6 years with
Okay.
the kid growing there, almost up to the daughter being in the first grade.
Yes.
And then there was a situation where, okay, you need to take the decision whether you need to continue
Yes.
in the very, comfortable life, good work-life balance, quality of life and all that in US continue, or you would like to pursue what you would like to do and, return back. And I chose the option and the decision, which is return to the motherland.
Okay.
And I always wanted to do that because I love and I enjoy every bit of it.
Okay.
I cherish every bit of it, because what I am today and what I have achieved today, I would not have done that, if I would have continued being there. And I certainly, it's not just from an professional standpoint, right?
Right.
It is also a personal standpoint, spending the time with friends, spending the time with the society, and giving back to society,
Sure.
building the organization. Right now, presently, I almost head the organization of 1,800 people and the competency center for our organization. I would not have been able to do that. I would not have been able to contribute during the challenging time of COVID to the people, to the society. And as you know, day-to-day life in India is not that smooth how it is in the Western geographies, right?
Sure.
But I love each and every bit of it and cherish each and every bit of it. And I think that was the best risk which I have taken, and it's worth every bit.
Wonderful. Uh, you said it rightly in the beginning. We do take risks, and there is sometimes they may not work out, but there is always a risk and reward equation. And I think in your case, because I can see a great deal of honesty and I can see a great deal of heart in your answers. Somewhere, Nilesh, the laws of karma work, and when the intention is pure and noble, then the benefits accrue. Maybe not immediately, but at some time they kick in. So I'm glad you took that risk and chance. And today, I think you're a much more happier person. Like you're saying, you wouldn't have been in the role or doing the things that you're doing if you hadn't taken that call. So that's wonderful.
Thanks. Thank you, Ivan.
You're welcome, sir. May I ask you if you have a role model? If yes, please tell us who that role model is and why.
Yes, my role model is a very simple, very honest individual.
Okay.
And I can tell that is what I have learned from my role model. And I have not seen such a satisfied human being, because I mean, I can look at it myself. I mean, if you get one thing, you will always wish for other, or something like that. But here I have not seen that kind of an zeal or running behind something. And it's none other than my dad, who is my role model. I unfortunately still cannot. One of the main reason why I returned back from US is also to spend a lot of time with my parents. And unfortunately, due to all other circumstances, and I belong to a very small town where there is no such a IT setup. But he still lives in the town. But yes, at least it gives me an opportunity to meet each other at least 4 to 5 times in an year, and spend more time than I would have been done in US. And I'm glad that I'm going to meet him tomorrow. So,
Okay.
but certainly, I mean, whatever I can say about him, it's less, but very simple, very honest, and that is where the the core values and the ingredients of an the value system which I learned from him. Speaks a lot. We don't talk much. As usual, we don't share much, because I share a lot with my mom and my wife. But he still, I have not find the so simple and honest person like him so far.
As you were speaking, I have to share this with you. There is an image of a person that came to my head, in my mind's eye.
Oh, wow.
Your father seems very Gandhian in the way he's lived and still conducts himself. The image of Mahatma Gandhi came. And it is not that I'm trying to flatter you, because we're having this conversation, because at the end of the day, that is the image that I got. If you're meeting him tomorrow, please extend our warm wishes to him on behalf of the Economic Times.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm really humbled, and thank you so much. I will certainly
please do
share
that
with him.
Please do that. Let's change track a little bit, Nilesh. I want your view on this. While our country has taken giant strides in every field, name it, we've done that, technology included, and successfully so. What is the one area, according to you, that you would like India Inc., if I may use the word, do even better?
Yeah, I think India Inc., if I look at it, will fulfill its full potential in the years to come if everyone plays a role, right, not to accept any corruption. Okay, because I strongly believe, looking at, because I have spent quite amount of time in the Western geographies, whatnot and all, the day-to-day life, right, should not have an influence of money. It should be based on the potential, right? It should be based on the fundamental rights. And I think that's the basic necessity of the citizens. So the day-to-day life should be flawless. And I think the India Inc. has the bigger role to play there, to ensure to improve the quality of life and people will be more focused on the economical things.
You know, the key word that you used was not to accept any corruption. People are there to influence us in various ways, whether it is habits, whether it's temptations, whether it is corruption. But I think the key word was not to accept it, because
Absolutely.
that's the call that you can make, even if you're tempted 100 times. So I think that is very important for me. And that's the big takeaway. The acceptance, that power lies with each individual.
Yep.
Okay. I'm really enjoying this conversation. So I am very tempted now to change track, Nilesh, and move on to a fun segment, which is called the one word, one line answer. I will ask you a question and kindly respond in a word, or I'll give you two options or three options, and I'll ask you to choose one of them. You don't need to justify any of the answers. All these answers are right answers. There are no wrong answers, because these are your answers. So it's a fun round. So are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay.
I am somehow trying to get the video bigger, but okay, I'm ready for it.
Okay. Wonderful. So choose one of the two. Do you enjoy shopping or do you dislike shopping?
Enjoy shopping.
Okay. I think I know what your answer will be to the next one, but let me ask it anyway. City life or village life?
Village life.
Village life, yes. Indian music or Western music?
Indian music.
Do you prefer cooking or being cooked for?
I prefer cooking.
Okay, wonderful. Pani puri or sev puri?
Sev puri.
Okay. And dhokla or khandvi?
Not both.
Not both? Really? I thought you would say both. Okay.
I am an exceptional Guju.
This was a real surprise, the biggest surprise of this cutting chai conversation, Nilesh.
Yeah. Because those are the two favorite things of my wife. So I don't like it.
Oh, really? Oh God, that was a real big surprise. I never expected that. See, things that you don't expect that come. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Then let me ask you, could you name three all-time favorite food dishes of yours?
One is bhel.
Okay.
Another is the khichdi.
Okay.
And another is the Thai pineapple cashew fried rice.
Oh goodness! Wow, what a range! From bhel to khichdi to Thai pineapple fried rice, cashew fried rice.
Yes.
What a range! Okay. I think you're quite a foodie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Nilesh, what is your favorite holiday destination? Choose one in India and one internationally.
So in India, if it needs to be, I mean, it is certainly my hometown.
Okay.
Okay. If I need to spend months or the days together, I will love to go there if I have a choice of mine.
Right.
But certainly recently I visited Kashmir and Leh Ladakh. I loved each and every bit of it, and I would love to be there again soon. Let's see. In the international holiday destination, so far on all the countries I have visited, I like Thailand.
Okay. You won't believe this. I've not visited your hometown, but My favorite holiday destination in India, and I never knew this till I went there. I was discouraged from going there because this was many years back, is Kashmir. I mean, it beats, they say Switzerland. I mean, Kashmir is just, we can talk about it some other time, but that is my favorite holiday destination.
I just came back 2 weeks before from Kashmir.
Really? Yeah. They say Jannat, no? So that place reminds me of that. It's unbelievable.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Would you rather live in a peaceful dictatorship or a chaotic democracy?
Chaotic democracy.
Okay. If you were a kitchen appliance, which one would you be and why?
Wow. If I am with the kitchen appliance,
take your time.
I would be a pressure cooker.
Why?
It takes all the pressure, okay?
Yes.
And gives you a nice, tasty food.
Fantastic. What a lovely answer. Second last question in this segment. Which three people, living or dead, would you like to have a cutting chai conversation with Nilesh? So, for example, you're in my shoes and you have the opportunity of having a cutting chai conversation with three people. Whom would you choose, living or dead?
I would choose one, our Honorable Prime Minister, Narendra Modi.
Okay.
Second, Mr. Satya Nadella.
Okay.
And third, Steve Jobs.
Wonderful. What a trio you selected. Fantastic. Final question in this segment. It's more like fill in the blanks or complete the sentence. Life is incomplete without dash. Kindly complete the sentence.
Without friends and family.
Fantastic. Nilesh, I really enjoyed this cutting chai conversation. I'm reminded of a couple of quotes, having had this conversation with you. The first one is by Jack Welch. And he says, before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. And you remind me of that. I don't know you personally. This is the first time we've met. We've chatted for about 25 minutes. You remind me of that. And from your conversation to the questions that I posed earlier, there is this other quote. I'm not sure who's said it, but what this quote is as follows. There's a misconception about teamwork. Teamwork is the ability to have different thoughts about things. It's the ability to argue and stand up and say out loud and strong what you feel. But in the end, it's also about the ability to have the grace to adjust what is the best for the team. And I think you embody this quote in your leadership style, and also when you, conduct proceedings with your team. So this is my takeaway from this cutting chai conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nilesh Dipak Karani, Senior Director, Head of Merck IT Center and IT Country Head, Merck India. Nilesh, I had a wonderful time, like I said, chatting with you. We wish you, your family and your organization the very best going forward.
Thank you so much, Ivan. I really enjoyed every bit of our conversation, and you took me to my childhood, to various aspects of me as an individual. And thank you so much. I will cherish this moment long way.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.